Hi, I'm Andy Clarke, a website designer based here in the north of Wales. This is my studio, Stuff and Nonsense, where I've worked on designs for products and websites for more than 25 years. I've made videos before, but this channel's about something new. One of the things I want to do is to investigate work from designers outside the web, understand the problems that they're hoping to solve, see what we can learn and apply it to the web. These designers might work on books, graphics, magazines or other projects. This is really important because if we're going to keep improving product and website design, we need to look for design inspiration in different places. If we always only look at products and websites for inspiration, we're going to end up with carbon copies and pay limitations. So today I want to talk about one of my favourite Italian designers, Giovanni Pintori. He did incredible work for Olivetti, the Italian business machine manufacturer, including their brochures and catalogue and other marketing materials. Then I'll break down some of his ideas and use them to make something for the web that was inspired by him. Giovanni Pintori was born in Sardinia in 1912 and he became one of the most influential European graphic designers of the 20th century. He became known for the distinctive style that he crafted into Olivetti's design language for over 30 years. Pintori studied design at Italy's influential Higher Institute for Artistic Industries, which was a progressive school where students studied ceramics and painting and metalwork and woodwork. And while studying there, Pintori met advertising director and publicist who headed Olivetti's design department, and he went to work there after graduating, becoming the company's art director in 1950. Olivetti manufactured business machines, most famously its range of typewriters. Its products were recognisable, and every detail of its designs, from the shape of a spacebar to the colour of its outer casings, was carefully considered, because creativity was an essential part of the company's culture, which was evident from the architecture of its factories and offices to the graphic design it used to promote its products. Over his 30-year career at Olivetti, Pintori designed the company's advertising and brochures and even their annual calendars. Pintori's aesthetic style was bold and confident. He used bright colours from minimal colour palettes and combined them with shapes which filled his designs with energy. But Pintori's work wasn't just playful. His choices of shapes weren't just abstract, they were really thoughtful. His shapes suggested the benefits of using a product rather than literally describing its features. He didn't just illustrate Olivetti's products, he brought them to life through his graphic designs, which suggested how they might be used and what they could do to enhance people's lives and work. I just love this quote about how he saw himself as a designer. He said, "I don't attempt to speak on behalf of the machines. Instead, I've tried to make them speak for themselves through the graphic presentation of their elements, operations and use." I just love that. Pintori's work is inspiring not only because of the boldness of his colourful shapes, but because of what they represented. And he understood that promoting a product requires more than just listing features. And publicity should tell a story which resonates with customers. And that's a lesson that we can all be inspired by. You know, even though Giovanni Pintori worked in a different medium long before the web, there's plenty that we can learn from his work. You know, it can be a hell of a lot of fun to study a designer's work from another medium and then apply what we learn from it to the work on the web. I do this almost every day where I can, whether I'm working on a client project or not, because it can be a great way to keep creative thoughts flowing. So take that last design for an Olivetti catalogue page, which might inspire an alternative approach to laying out an otherwise very generic looking website product page. Those colourful boxes might suggest different types of product images. And this is already interesting, but we can make it even more compelling by allowing those product images to escape from their boxes. And overlapping those colourful boxes adds even more energy to the layout. You know, a generation of product and website designers has grown up using the 12-column grid which ships with most platforms and frameworks. It's one of my pet peeves, people just always using a generic grid. I've tried really hard to encourage people to design with compound and modular and ratio-based grids. But just because that grid's so common, it doesn't mean that designs that are based on it need to look so generic. Placing elements thoughtfully and using white space really carefully can transform a layout from looking ordinary to being inspiring. And the same approach can be used for other types of pages, whether they're filled with images or not. They can even be packed with text and still be incredibly interesting. Colours also tell a story about a company, a product or a service just as eloquently as layout or typography. So in this Pintori-inspired design, I made colourful rectangles that anchor the product images within the layout. And these overlapping shapes add depth and energy to the composition. I might use this layout for a product or maybe even a landing page. You might think that layouts like these are tricky to implement, but they can even be accomplished using the grid which ships with visual web building platforms like Squarespace. This just proves that inspired layouts are possible, no matter what platform you choose. Now, when I'm designing colour, I often alter the lightness and the saturation of colours in my palettes so that they appear more vibrant against dark backgrounds. When combined with a flexible grid and bold graphic shapes, those colours transform an ordinary looking design into one that stands out. Just like Giovanni's Pintori work still stands out today as an example of how design can communicate and convince people to engage with a product or website. So with one or two exceptions, I've spent the last 25 years designing on projects that lasted a year, some several months, but the majority for no more than a few weeks. And this kind of creative promiscuity suited my often short attention span. But there were times when I wished that I could stay with an organisation for longer and positively influence what they do, in the way that Giovanni Pintori helped Olivetti. He defined Olivetti's image far beyond his time at the company, and after leaving in 1967, he continued to work on projects with them. He established his own studio in Milan, where he worked as a freelance designer. Pintori died in Milan in 1999, and there's a book, Pintori by Marta Cerrone, and published by Moleskine, which catalogues his astonishing career. There's a link down in the description. So, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when the next one's available. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.